guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beverly and it's really nice to see you today. So this month is Pain Awareness Month. This is done by a charity in America, but I really wanted to take a chance to talk about pain. I did a video a couple of weeks ago about dealing with chronic pain. I will link to that down below and in the cards up here. But yeah, I think any opportunity to talk about pain and to talk about chronic pain and how it affects you is really good. We all need to open this dialogue up and help people understand how it feels. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. But before I do, I just wanted to ask if you enjoy this video, if you'll give it a like. And if you enjoy my content, consider subscribing by clicking the link down below, ringing that little bell so you always know when I upload. It would mean a lot to me, and when I get to 500 subscribers I'm going to be doing a giveaway. I'm already collecting stuff together and hopefully that'll be for Halloween. I'm really hopeful. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to come and have a little chat to you guys because I've had this thing called painsomnia happen to me only a few times, thankfully. But when it does, it really knocks you about. And I think the main reason it makes you feel so ill is because you're up all night. Now the definition, I have it written down here: lack of sleep due to physical distress or chronic pain. Now, I had this not last night, but the night before. Sounds like the start of a song. Not last night, but the night before I had painsomnia. I was up all night tossing and turning because my legs felt so painful that I just kept trying to stretch my legs. It felt like, yeah, like when you need to when your legs have been bent for too long and you just need to stretch them out, and it's like, oh, relief. That is exactly how it felt. Painsomnia is quite an interesting little term, but basically what it means is, like insomnia, you can't sleep. And the reason you can't sleep is because you're in too much pain. And chronic pain is different to pain from an injury or something like that. Chronic pain is more of a dull, sickly, kind of tiring, achy pain rather than a stabbing kind of in-your-face pain. It's just kind of there, constantly in the background, winding down, just chipping away at you all the time, and it is really tiring. And so going to sleep is something that's really important. I did a video about getting to sleep, having a good night's sleep, 5 tips that I've implemented into my life, so I'll leave a link to that as well, because I've really worked hard to get from a place where I was up all night and sleeping all day to flipping it round, and now I'm asleep by about 11 every night, and I get up about 7:30. So I have a good night's sleep most nights. But the other night I literally couldn't get comfortable. My legs were very painful. My ribs were hurting. The actual rib bones were hurting just a touch, as if I'd been beaten up. So I don't know who's got that voodoo doll out there, but please give it a rest. It was so painful. You're lying on your side and your ribs are in contact with the bed. There's nothing you can do. You're in pain. You're stuck there. So I basically just laid there all night trying to get comfortable, fidgeting all night. My dog, come here little Gizmo. My little dog Gizmo was trying to cuddle up to me because he always knows when I'm not feeling well. Don't you? He always knows when I'm not feeling well, and so he's always trying to like be there for me and cuddle up to me and keep me company. So he didn't have any sleep, so he was grumpy the next day. But it was just really hard. You're lying there all night, and my husband, he works, but he has like fatigue issues as well because of his epilepsy medication. So we really find that once I'm in bed, he goes to sleep within about 5 seconds, and I try not to disturb him, but I had to wake him up at one point and he had to go and get me pain relief so that I could take something to and it was just ibuprofen or paracetamol, something like that, but it just boosts the stuff that I take daily anyway. and it was just what I needed in that moment. I was just like, thank you, thank you, because it just boosted it enough where I did get a couple of hours sleep, but most of the night I was awake. And I think most people who have chronic illnesses understand what painsomnia is. They've been through it. Their partners have sat up with you all night while you're crying in pain. You know, we've all been there. All chronic illness warriors know what I'm talking about when I say painsomnia. It's just one of those little catchwords that you're just like, oh yes, I've had those nights. Those glorious nights where you're just lying in the dark, praying for morning so you can take your morning meds and hopefully go to sleep. But it was really, really difficult. Tossing and turning all night, you just feel really bad because you're keeping the other person awake, your partner. Yeah, I just felt really bad about it because he had to go to work the next day. So I just felt like the worst human on the planet. But there are a couple of things that I do to help when I'm having these nights. One thing I do is save up podcasts. Podcasts are amazing. I did a video a couple of days ago, I think it was, my favourite podcasts. But those podcasts really get me through. Like, if I can just lie there and listen to somebody talking, it stops all those negative thoughts and depressive thoughts coming up that always pop into your head in the middle of the night. I also have this little speaker. It's like you can plug it into your iPad or your phone or whatever you use, and then it goes underneath your pillow and turns your pillow into headphones. It turns your pillow into headphones, so you haven't got the wires all around your head and you're not uncomfortable with headphones in, and you can just lie on your side and you can hear perfectly well, but nobody else can hear it. It doesn't echo around the room or anything like that. They're brilliant, and I keep them in my bedside table, so I can just kind of curl up and stick this on and I'm sorted for the night. And you can get them relatively cheaply. I got mine from Amazon, and I'm sure there's loads of places that you can get them from. So I definitely felt like it's podcasts that I don't get much of a chance to listen to. And what I tend to do is make them the podcasts that I don't actually want to hear. Like, they'll keep me entertained, but if it's something like, I wouldn't listen to Michael Rosenbaum's podcast because I actually want to hear what he's saying. So I pick podcasts that it's okay if I fall asleep and miss the whole thing. That's the point. It's just keeping me while you're half asleep in the middle of the night. It just keeps you company. Podcasts are great for that, or your favourite music can be really good for that. But I find the talking stops my head thinking too much, which is always a good thing when you have chronic anxiety. Oh. The other thing is I always keep tablets and things like that in my bedside table. This is because there's quite often times when I'm in a lot of pain and you don't want to have to get up, put all the lights on, go downstairs, go and fertle through the medicine cabinet to try and find your tablets. It's a lot. If I get hit with a migraine at 3 o'clock in the morning, my migraine tablets are in my bedside table and I just have to reach for them and take it. I also keep like a little snack bar, like a Nutri-Grain bar or something like that, in the drawer, just because you're not supposed to take tablets on an empty stomach, and I can just quickly eat a bar and then I'm done, and I can take my tablets and hopefully get some sleep. But then it's strange because sometimes the next day is even worse. The next morning I got up because I had to, I've got a dog. I still have to go downstairs and feed him and look after him. So I took him downstairs and I just put some comfy pyjamas on and I lay on the sofa and just dozed. I was in and out watching like 90s Tom Hanks films, like Sleepless in Seattle, and You've Got Mail. Stuff like that are great for days like that where it's almost like you've got a hangover. That's the only thing I can say it's like. It's like having a hangover because you feel so tired and you've still got that pain there. But for some reason it's never quite as bad the next day. It's always worse when you're trying to sleep. It's just a nightmare. So I always find the next day it's good to just rest. Just rest up. Don't have any plans. Don't be forcing yourself to do housework and things. Just rest. Your body will need it. And then another thing is not to sleep too much that day, because if you sleep all day then you might not be able to sleep the next night, and then you've switched your sleeping pattern around and then it's nightmare. So it's just bearing things like that in mind is really important. I would say stay away from things like books and stuff like that while you're in the night time aspect of the painsomnia, because then you've got to have a light on if you're reading an actual book, or you can get the glare off your iPad or your iPhone or whatever. You're going to disturb other people, and also that kind of blue light messes with your time frame in your brain. I can't remember how it works. I read about it a few years ago and I was like, oh, I better stop going on my iPad late at night. Because it does stop you being able to go to sleep, so just bear that in mind. I forgot to say that before. But yeah, it's just really hard, and I wanted to talk about it because I want people to understand that if somebody says they've been up all night in pain, just imagine to yourself what it would be like to be in pain all night and not be able to do anything about it because it's the middle of the night. You can't exactly go to the emergency room or your doctor because it's chronic pain. It's not going to go away. There's nothing they can do. You've just got to kind of find a way to make it work. And I really want to reach out to all my chronic illness warriors out there. What do you do on those nights where you can't sleep because you're in too much pain? Are any of these tips that I came up with, are they anything that you do, or do you have other ideas and other things that work for you? I would love to hear it, so leave down below. I do tend to use things like essential oils as well to help me sleep, like anti-anxiety and headache ones, and I've got one that is to help you sleep, and I use that a lot as well. So it's just finding those things that help, and I think by talking about this and by exchanging ideas on what works for you and what doesn't work, we can all work together and really make this something that we can kind of cope with a lot better than we do if we try and just cope by ourselves. So that's all I wanted to say today, really. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I will see you on Friday. I'll see you on Friday. Bye.